way up. There we go. There we go. Look at that. Look at those arms. Look at this.
I feel very uncomfortable with this.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Tower Challenge. We have XL UK taking on Fnatic Rising, or is it the other way around? Because Fnatic are challenging. We're joined by Orcs.
Oh, hey. Yeah, hey, I'm back.
Is it too? You're here too?
Yeah, I'm here too.
Very
I was
happy.
back in the control room, helping everything
Blowing
run
your nose.
smoothly. Yeah, blowing my nose. I have a bit of a cold, but I am back to cast this hypey matchup. Fnatic won revenge, and they looked so good last game.
They looked incredible last game, and I mean, XL looked incredible last week, so... I mean, like, I don't know what to call this. Like, at the beginning of this week, put Fnatic Rising as the Tower Challenge champions. Like, as the people on top of the tower. Everybody else went for XL, so I could potentially really smash ahead in the runnings.
You can overtake me.
I could overtake you in this game if this happens.
It's all or nothing though.
It is all or nothing.
I'm-
I'm like...
I
Yeah.
gotta say, like, and we keep hyping this up, but it is such a cool matchup because Fnatic have looked almost unstoppable. Although Eminem was able to challenge them in the very end, it still felt like Fnatic was fully in control of that game. Whereas XL, we saw last week, just came from the bottom of the tower and just absolutely murdered everyone.
Yeah.
I will admit, though, the XL against Fnatic game last week was really close. So
Yeah?
I think it's going to be a close one again. And I think one thing that's impressed me is how Fnatic have adapted and they're willing to pick things like the Gragas and Yasuo, because I feel like XL flexed on them last week in more ways than one, but the main one was that they had a lot of flex picks and it was really hard to keep track of who's going where, and I think that caused some issues. But now we saw the game that they had up against...
Eminem?
No, it was this game before, which was against Diabolus.
Wait, Demise? Fnatic?
No, Demise, yeah, that's it.
Thank
Got that in there. I'm ill, I'm allowed to be wrong. Fnatic against Demise, they flexed everything everywhere. It was really hard to keep track of. Even I got it wrong, so I think it makes it difficult for the opposing team, and I think it means they've counteracted a bit of that strategy coming out from XL.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard for me to call what is going on. Like, I want to get into picks and bans because that's where I think we can start to really draw our conclusions on what to expect really for the game, because it's just impossible to call what XL are going to do. Fnatic, at least we know for the most part, are going to play to their lanes. I mean, you can guarantee that much.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I actually don't have an idea of what XL are going to be locking in. What are they going to be? Where are they? Who's going to be playing where?
I'd like to
is
make-
Zikana mid again?
One point, I would really like to see Aurelia banned. Because I feel like before, like all the games were on a really good track with banning Aurelia, and then we didn't do that.
I mean, she's
Games.
hypey. You can see it on your screens right now. This was XL's journey to the top of the tower. Started versus Barrage with what almost looked like first blood against them, but just Special looking really, really comfortable. This is when they put Hyana mid lane and Special bot lane.
Yeah, and this is a big talking point for me, is the Gragas Yasuo, which, I mean, XL had so much success on that last week, and we've also seen Fnatic bring that out consistently this week. So I think that's going to be the big contention point, because picks like the Aurelia, I just don't expect to get through draft. The same with things like the Yuumi, but with things like the Gragas and the Yasuo, you don't have that many bans, and I'd be interested to see if one team tries to prioritize that, because it depends on side choices. It's going to be a lot of factors playing into it, but both teams have shown they're very, very willing to play that, and it has been very strong for them.
What we just saw was the Hyana and Sing bot lane once again, where they play the
Banheimer.
Yuumi Heimerdinger.
Banheimer.
Did you watch the Eminem like kind of voice comms recordings from on Twitter this week, where they were saying you had Shogun just go, I mean, that's Hyunan's Heimerdinger, and that's impressive, man. That is really horrible to play into.
Yeah, so I think it absolutely should be banned, and that's a big favorable thing going over to XL, is that they essentially get a free ban out of the other side, and it means when things are going up for contention, they have a bit more wiggle room to ban things away specifically from Fnatic, whereas obviously that Hyanan is such a specific ban. The Heimer for Hyanan, I've got them mixed up, is such a specific ban that you have to use.
It's one of the patterns of players like this is, you know, if you have like, you draw a ban naturally. Yeah. I mean, when I think about other players, I think of people like Leader, where he basically just, in the European regional leagues, does nothing but just draw multiple bans towards him, and then you leave so much open. Like, the fact you have to maybe think about banning away the Hyana means another potential power pick is left open for XL. And with the versatility that their roster has and their ability to play across the map with different people in different lanes, means that leaving something powerful open could be a death sentence for your team as well.
Well, I think that's the big thing is that it's seen to be almost a struggle for teams to ban away all the OPs. They're obviously the big ones like Aurelia that's take a lot of priority, but in the last 2 games we've seen even them get left open and losing the 100% ban rate that Aurelia had, and I believe she's now on a 100% win rate for the UKLC summer.
Yeah.
So good reason to have that one banned away, but there's lots of other picks available. We've seen things like the Nico occasionally drawing bans, occasionally going through. Lux, Sivir, Yuumi, the Sona, all these champions in the right circumstances can be absolutely monstrous. And I feel like you're very limited to what you're able to ban, especially when you're in a matchup against a team that are so evenly matched with yourselves.
I think one of the players that really stood out to me in the XL versus Fnatic game, though, for Fnatic, because it kind of felt around everywhere for Fnatic. It went wrong in every way possible, but mid lane. Magic Felix played Camille, and he looked pretty good, actually. Like, he was the only one with a positive KDA. He actually looked like the one who was potentially able to put that game on his back. He unfortunately wasn't for them. But I do feel like this mid lane is going to be the point I want to watch in this game, because I think Magic Felix is really good still. I still think he's one of the top mid laners we got in the UKC, and I think that was kind of like that felt a little bit of just a really easy statement to say. Magic Felix is
Magic
good.
Felix is really good?
What?
No way.
Well, let's have a little look at his
Bold
team.
statements from Jake.
Let's have a little look at his team. Fnatic Rising coming up first on the blue side. Shikari in the top lane. NG in the jungle. Our really, really, really good mid laner in Magic Felix. X-Maddie in the ADC. And Prospect as support.
Yeah, you saw them just a minute ago. They are back again to take on the Tower Champions, which is XL.
And that is going to be Sendo in the top lane, Taxa in the jungle, Special in the mid lane, Hyun in ADC, and Kasing as his support.
You know, and you know where Special's from, by the way.
Where is he from?
Well, I'll make you guess, Jake.
I'm fairly certain I have a good idea.
Any idea?
France? Germany? I don't know.
Oh, no.
Is it Korean? Who knows? Yeah.
It's always
I
the
want you to
Netherlands.
say it.
It's
Yeah.
always the Netherlands.
It's always the Netherlands. Whenever you bring up anyone's nationality, it's because
Yeah.
they're from the Netherlands.
I mean,
Shame the rest of your
can be
league isn't
proud.
as good as Special, eh?
Oh, no, they're not. I love the Benelux League, but we're not as
to
good
be
as
fair,
Special.
I actually love the Benelux. Alois, the
Yeah.
Riven one trick, that
Yeah.
dude is just fun to watch.
Chapapi.
Oh
you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
If you haven't watched EUM, really should.
Yeah, you'll see
Really
them.
should.
You'll see them.
You'll
They
see
won't be
them.
on it for long,
Oh.
but they'll be on it.
That's a big question, but let's not get into that because I could talk about that for hours. But the game here, as you were saying, Magic Felix, he's pretty good.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
But the thing for me is that we've also seen Fnatic swap around, and we keep coming back that Fnatic and XL, they're both playing at the highest level. And it feels like besides M&M, who seem to be able to catch up, also play just so many steps further ahead. And then for me, the question is not just in draft, but also we saw Yarnan play top Carthus last time, right? Like that's the kind of stuff that they've swapped everything around to every role. And
Yeah.
I'm going into the next game like, we really don't know anything until we've actually seen him not lock in, not wait till 20 seconds, but actually get in game and see where they go.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that is the one slight advantage. XL have shown they're more flexible with the lanes, whereas with Fnatic, they are quite rigid so far in the lanes. It's just the picks that have switched around. So they could get that edge in that regard, but we did see when they had that game, when they put Sendo in the mid lane, he suffered up against Magic Felix, especially because the matchup he was in when he had to deal with the pressure of Camille and the Sejuani.
Alrighty, well, we are into the picks and the bans here. This is the point I was excited about. Yuumi going to be taken away. We're not having any of that right now. Sivir found away from X-Maddie. He had the game of his life just coming in versus M&M. And like you're saying, it feels like the top 3 teams are a massive step ahead of every other team in the UK scene. But I think it's still very hotly contested, especially between these 2 teams, our 2 LEC sister teams, as we look at the Kennen and the Yasuo get banned away.
No Jaime yet, and it does make me think, do they have a strategy prepared for it, which is a bold statement to ask, or will it come in third ban, which is what I absolutely expect.
I mean, I think there was one other team that didn't ban. Okay, there we
There
go.
it is.
Never mind.
Yeah.
I was
You're
saying,
not gonna
there
see
was-
the Ivan
there
again.
there was one other team that didn't ban until the second rotation, and maybe they feel like there's so many power. No, they just say, no, Yarnan, you're not getting the Heimer thing. And, everyone who's ever played against this, yeah, that's probably the best idea.
A lot of bot lane bans drawn here, and so they go for the Lux, which is one of the big power picks left. There's still something like the Sona available, but I haven't really seen Fnatic show much tendency towards that. They take Nico, Aatrox, which are the 2 of these power picks that tend to avoid the ban phase. They're not powerful enough to draw constant bans like Aurelia, but they are still very favorable to pick up. That flies over to XL, their rotation.
And typically we've been seeing the Nico kind of phase away from the top lane and more towards the mid and the bot with the Glacial Augment. But it's still been played top lane. I'm not sure if it's really a Shikari champion as such. I know he has a large champ pool, but it doesn't feel to me like a Shikari champ. I feel like they're probably going to be looking to maybe run it mid lane with this Corki because it can kind of just play kind of neutral into the Corki. It has obviously the safety from the shield from the ulti and stuff like that as well. So I'm expecting this to go mid lane as they pit themselves at the Corki and the Olaf for XL.
Yeah, so Olaf's seen a lot of success. We saw it in the hands of Nalty, who did really well on it with Eminem until he didn't in that last game. The Corki's an interesting one because it's typically going mid lane, but remember, Hyanan did play that mid, and it may be seen as a neutralizer pick just to avoid the pressure coming out from MagiFelix, and then Special goes bot and applies a ton of pressure. We see the Shen come out, which is technically still a flex, but remember, Prospect has played exclusively the past 2 games, so we don't know for sure, but I have to expect it to go on support.
I really like that Fnatic Rising take this Shen support pick and then make it work inside of lane as well, just by how proactive NG and Prospect seem to be playing, right? Because traditionally, I feel like the Shen support, because I feel like in EU and NA, I haven't seen it as much as Korea, for example, where it used to be a really popular pick. Still see it pop it up every now and then. And just in terms of sheer laning, it isn't quite as strong, especially like something like the Lux. But I think that if Xmati can just play that lane out safe, and Magifi or Prosper and NG can yet again find all these roams, then once Stand United becomes available, it completely change the paradigm of the game, as XL need to second guess every single time they go for an invade, because, or any play really, because the instant reinforcements are just so strong.
All right, well, we're into this second ban phase. The Mordekaiser gets taken away. I was a little excited to be seeing that, but that is not going to be the case here. And now Fnatic looking to get themselves their pick, revealing what they're going to be most likely going for their jungle, and then save where Nico's going later and make sure they get a nice counter pick, a powerful pick. But that's a Kindred.
That is a Kindred coming out for NG, so almost definitely expecting that in the jungle, unless there's some crazy shenanigans going on. Does do pretty well into Olaf, because obviously Olaf's intention is to go in. You can very much deny that with the ult, and adds an element of scaling. And especially if you want to put, say, the AP carry Nico on the bot lane, which we saw X might be comfortable playing, it does offer some flexibility in that regard. However, with Azir banned away, that's a solid pick to take in a Corki in terms of just matching the scaling. That's no longer a possibility. They just go over to XL and they pick up the Jhin, which is a pretty interesting one, and it does suggest that it will be special in this Corki mid lane.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to be getting pretty standard here by XL. So no quirky picks, nothing kind of flashy and special as they're looking to pick up one more champion. It's going to be Sendo on the Gangplank. He had a very good game on this last week, actually, when he played it. As you can see, 100% win rate, only person to play it. And now Fnatic looking to round out their comp. They're looking for either a mid laner or an AD carry, unless it's AD Kindred, but like, if I remember right, NG is actually a Kindred player.
It could be AP carry, Nico.
You can go Aatrox mid lane, AP carry Nico with Pyke, but it does not look...
I don't know. I don't know who's going where now. You know what?
I didn't think it would be the Shen top lane because Gangplank is a good matchup in a Shen. I think Sendo taking that basically confirmed you're going to put that Shen support. Jakari takes a Rumble, which is an okay matchup into the Gangplank because you can shove him in pretty effectively early. And then we have the AP carry from the Nico, which we saw once before, and MagiFelix on that Aatrox, which there's a limited amount of pressure he's going to be able to apply to special in this Corki.
Yeah.
Especially since, XL have the stronger early jungler. I think I want to see him making the opportunities to make roams. Then also, the big thing with Fnatic's team comp is finding the backline access, finding the flanks, because they have so many champions that are excellent at that, especially when you have a Shen on top of them as well. It makes execution very easy.
I'm also looking at the mid-game skirmishes and possible team fights that Fnatic is going to be looking to draw out. The combination of the global presence from the Shen, combined with just the 1-2 out and pyro spikes of the Aatrox, of the Rumble, and of the Kindred means that if they can avoid full-on team fights and instead find a 2v2, the 3v3, get the Shen to come in, I think the only real threat to that is going to be that Gangplank ultimate that is kind of a foil to the Stand United, the Shen, but not nearly as threatening in my opinion, especially with how good Prospect's taunts have been thus far.
I think my only concern is, obviously, with flanks, they can always win team fights if they get onto the backline and punish them. But later and later this game gets a Corki and a Jhin, especially with the Lux backing them up with the shield in, and to boot a Gangplank in the top lane, it's definitely going to favor XL the later the game goes.
Well, we'll have to see as we head into the Rift for our last game of Week 2. Our tower challenge is to be decided here between Fnatic and XL. Remember, if Fnatic are unable to beat XL, they have another shot at the top of the tower next week at the beginning of the show. So I feel like they just want to get this win here. Like, let's be real. You want to get this win here.
I think both teams want to get this win here.
Yeah, honestly, I'm fine either way as well because, you know, if I lose up predictions to you, Jake, I'll take it. But more importantly, I just want to see the high-level League of Legends that both these two teams have been showing thus far. And one thing is certain, at least for me, is that with these lineups, I'm expecting to see a lot of action. And that is what always makes me happy, you know, no tank matchup in the top lane. There's actually a lot of damage available there. And I think the Corki is really the only one where I don't expect to see a lot of action around.
Yeah, but it has been a kleptomancy from Special, so he plans to farm up pretty effectively on MagiFelix. And that's the issue, is that the burden is on Fnatic to be proactive, make things happen, and actually, they're getting invaded right now.
Yeah, they're going in for this early invade. Prosper, I don't believe actually has the taunt already. That's going to be a binding onto one. Kiana looks for a bit of damage in the blue buff. Going to get reset. This will slow down what XL were looking to do with this steal. But NG now just free to move back over to his red side and pick that camp up. But Sendo now, with the Grasp Be Undying, doing pretty comfortable here into Shikari. One corrupting pot stack left for Sendo, though. So he's actually burnt a lot of his regen early.
Yeah, Hasdon. Taxa will have the advantage here. Olaf so good level 1, as is the Lux, who can bind 2 people. And so Fnatic, although they managed to reset the blue, which slowed Taxa down a bit, they really can't do anything to contest this right now. NG has to go to the other side of the jungle, and he actually may look for a gank before doing anything else here.
Yeah, remember Sendo has already used all of his pot Shikari, low HP, trying to get those barrels down, and that's going to be a big pop onto them as Sendo will just be able to walk away, and NG actually wasted a lot of time. This does mean that Taxa's going to be able to steal away all of his bot blue side jungle.
I think he already sacrificed his blue side jungle, but he does get the flash from Sendo. It means he does have to be a bit more cautious, especially as now the map has been split. So XL are going to be able to focus a lot more pressure bot lane, but Sendo is essentially isolated here on the top side. He will get no help from Taxa for a considerable amount of time, and he always has to be scared of a gank coming in from NG.
Now see if the RNG works for NG here as these crabs are spawning up where the first point is going to be.
And we see already, as you were saying, the fact that the map is split up also means that Xmati and Prosper, also due to the fact that they got kind of bullied out of the lane early on, have already been built at a substantial disadvantage as we see. Unfortunately for NG, Mark of the Kindred spawning on the bot side Skull there, and that's a really dangerous place to go to, no priority, and of course an angry Viking looking to ruin your day. And if you don't get those 4 stacks early on as the Kindred, the rest of the game just becomes substantially harder as you don't get the auto attack range increase and just you lack the damage that you really need.
Yeah, and under normal circumstances, not a huge issue because
Big taunt there. Xmati doesn't have the ability to follow up, but good trade by Prosper to come out on top there. Kasing gonna go low.
Yeah, but as I was saying, normally it's not so much of an issue because Kindred does outscale Olaf pretty significantly. But in this game, the Corki, the Gangplank, and the Jhin means I favor XL in the later stages. So if you miss out on these early stacks, I don't think you can just wait for more of the game to get those stacks in return. You are on a timer right now, so missing out on the early ones is really going to impact you heavily.
And we had talks about the kind of Kindred stacks. Like 4 is the magic number early because you get the increased range and you obviously get all the bonus damage stuff as well. But it's about that extra range early on the Kindred. So we need to make sure we're tracking NG's stacks because once that 4 comes through, if it comes through late, then it's really detrimental to Fnatic.
I mean, the best situation for you to be in as Kindred is just not just get that 4 early, but then try and hit those next benchmarks. If you find 3 more, if you find 3 more after that, it just keeps getting better and better for you now. Actually getting up to above 7 doesn't really happen unless it's a complete blowout game, so don't expect to see any of that. But as you're saying, at the very least 4, because the closer you need to get to this composition from XL, the more damage you're going to take. And the same can be said for Xmati here.
Let's take a fair amount of damage there, but he is able to make his way out, holds onto his flash. But bleeding out in the CS department here, you can already see a CS deficit growing for Hyanan.
Yeah, and that does also force his TP. He's going to recall now, but almost certainly just going to TP back in the pickup. It actually cancels his recall, so we'll stay in lane. I think most of it's because of the low mana pools on the side of XL. We should be able to pick up this wave, but as you said, CS disadvantage. And other than top lane, where Shikari's pulled ahead slightly, it's pretty constant across the board. Jungle has edged slightly ahead, not significant enough to talk about, and as I'm saying, NG equalizes, but mid lane, Special has an advantage. You can see the gold is pretty significant. A large amount due to the Kleptomancy also contribute.
The barrels aren't going to be landing here. Shikari just going for a trade. Sendo actually will take a tower shot, so walks away. Pretty unhappy from that trade, as that will be the cannon barrage achieved for Sendo, now hit level 6. Rumble a little bit of a ways off that equalizer.
Prosper only level 3, so Stand United is still a really long way away, as Yarnan, he's going for the little skittles there, but needs to be careful because Prosper's flash taunts have been great. NG dodges the axe, and that's going to be that. Fortunately for him, but as you were saying, Orcs, I do feel like Fnatic kind of need to see some mid-game action from them here, and a Cloud Dragon, unfortunately for them, isn't really the best instigator when it comes to the Drakes.
Yeah, the two big points that I'm waiting for is when Shikari's TP is available again, so he can join with the Equalizer, and also when Prosper hits level 6, so that he can use his Stand United. And him being level 3 is actually a massive hit to that, because it's going to take such a long time before that ult's available.
Xmatty does need to be a little bit careful. Same for Prosper. He taunts over the wall. Deadly Flourish will root up Xmatty, but he's able to make a nice step away here.
And this is such a great move because they're punishing the bot lane where the Shen is. Prosper feels tied to his lane. He's stuck at level 3. He's losing a lot of XP. He can't really walk around to get any advantages elsewhere on the map. And as a result, the lane you want to be able to hit that level 6 breakpoint and assist everywhere else is locked down by Tax's control of this side of the map.
On the plus side, Angie was able to pick up the first mark there, and maybe if you get really lucky, I think the cooldown's just a little bit too long, but going to go for the invade, takes the topside jungle yet again, and that might give him an early edge here, as Taxa won't be going for any of that. So that is at least a little bit of a saving grace here, but the first dragon already getting picked up, and falling behind again a scaling composition like XL are back in here. Can't feel very good for Fnatic here, and as you were saying, I think the next really big objective we might see, either it's a big setup here around the bot lane, as it's coming through here now from Fnatic, and Shikari, crucially, doesn't have the teleporter yet, so if they go for something, it might be dangerous, but might just be picking up the blue buff here.
I want to find out what the Kindred stacks are, so if production could quickly give me a message, but it looks like they're going for a fight here for the moment. Prosper pulls in the shield, lands himself the taunt. The Curtain Call does a little bit of damage to him. The Deadly Flourish goes wide. Xmatty does find himself the root. He has now got that Pop Blossom, so he's feeling relatively comfortable underneath his wave as he flashes forward, roots up one, gets some damage down, but he's going to get caught out. Low HP, and Sharden finds first blood. Magic Felix is just way too late to the roam.
Just an overzealous play from Xmatty. I had to look to see if a teleport was coming in. I knew it was on cooldown, but I was like, why would you ever make that play when you don't have the support coming in? Matty just oversteps. He ends up giving a free kill over to Yarnan, when honestly, they did such a good job staying alive under that tower. I was like, wow, about to praise them for how they played that out.
Kindred has 1 stack, by the way.
Yeah,
so
it's just the one on topside Scuttle, because I haven't been able to find a kill, you know, with the mark on one of the champions, and just finding that 1 Scuttle already is kind of rough going. As you were saying, Ox, I feel like either there was a miscommunication, or they thought that Magic Felix was maybe a little bit closer. They force out a lot, but now Yarnan finds a big early lead where he didn't really have one before.
That same play, if Shikari has a TP and Magic Felix is closer, would have looked completely different. But it just ends up making Xmatty look like a fool, because he just overstepped when he had honestly defended the tower very well, avoided losing too much damage on it, and also staying alive against 4 members. Like I said, I was about to praise Fnatic, and then they make a massive misplay, and that really can make this bot lane difficult when you look at the item differential already coming out.
Special has to use the package just to jump away from Magic Felix. We'll clear out this minion wave as well.
Saving grace for me is that the one good thing that came of that is that Prosper has been able to catch a solo wave there in terms of XP, so he's not nearly as far behind. Yes, Kasing is 6, and he's not.
There's a high IQ play from Xmatty. He suicided to give solo XP to Prosper. What a keen player.
Yeah, you know, might have been it. That's what you would do, right?
Oh, it looks like they might be going for the play. Prosper flash taunts in. Kasing looking to get caught. Kyan then flashes away from the Pop Blossom. Kasing now still making a run for it. The curtain has been called onto Fnatic, and Kasing is buying so much time, but NG able to secure the kill there for Fnatic Rising, and they're going to equalize out the kill scores.
Yeah, really great play, but have a look at NG right now. His target was Yolaf, so doesn't get a stack from that. It's nice to dissuade the pressure. They also get the flash from Shannon, but at the end of the day, it doesn't mean that much right now for Fnatic, and you can already see that XL are making moves on that Rift Herald. However, I think Magifelix is positioned to stop it.
Oh, Shikari's actually just looking at cook Gangplank alive. The orange has been used, and no equalizer available to him as Magifelix is...
Oh, it's a nice takeover.
Starting over, the pass over has been handed to Fnatic, and they are looking to pick up the pressure and pick up the Rift Herald as NG be able to grab that eye.
Yeah, so good moves coming out from them. I think Taxa decided to go for the cross-map play, but wasn't able to get in time, and as a result, they will be able to pick up the Herald, which is a pretty significant objective. However, it has led their bot side Baron. XL will make moves to control the vision in the area. Now Hjarnan has some alone time with his bot lane tower.
We'll be able to do a fair amount of damage to it with Taxo hanging about as well. This might just be assistance on the plates. Might even end in first turret blood. Looks like Fnatic are not going to be fast enough to the punch. This wave will be bouncing away. So maybe they're going to be okay, but solid amount of gold given over to Hjarnan and Taxa there with those plates. Fnatic make it back to defend. They're not going to lose this turret quite yet.
Jan also not going for the fabled double Infinity Edge build, instead opting into the Essence Reaver here, and Special now getting close to that Triforce as well. That's really the first little spike that you're aiming for. But if you look at this Gangplank, I feel like he's really been dealt the roughest hand. The Shikari having a great impact here.
And this is just a typical effect of the split map. A lot of pressure being put on Sendo means he can't really farm safely. Every time Shikari goes in for a trade, he's worried, is this going to be a gank coming out? And so it has led to a disadvantage there, but you can see it's counteracted on the bot side where Taxa apply the pressure. There is a pretty significant CS lead there.
You can see the gold on your screen currently. Hjarnan has a 1,200 gold lead over Xmadi currently.
I think that's literally most of the advantage that we see here, fortunately for
Yeah,
Fnatic.
top lane is kind of equalizing it out a little bit as well.
Jungle is fairly ahead, which is nice. NG, of course, picking up the kill and all around being able to apply some pressure, even with a fairly slow start here. As the bot side control now being taken by Fnatic.
That's actually the Eye of the Herald being summoned in the mid lane. Looking to unlock Magifelix in the mid. NG going to help push this wave out.
Wait, I think Crossfire might be potentially looking for a play over the wall, but they are actually getting aggro on the dragon. I think they were trying to look for a snipe over the wall, but XL caught off.
No gold. That was literally no gold given over. Fnatic didn't pick up the plates at all.
Oh, that is...
They're going to get this Drake potentially, but Taxa is making his way, and the final spark's a little bit too late by sitting. It looks like XL unable to answer out, but to be fair, I think you can walk away happy. You lost an Ocean Drake, but those 3 plates didn't give any gold to Fnatic in the mid lane. It just gave some pressure to the mid for Magifelix to potentially take a tower later.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a massive amount. They did only get the 1 play. They nearly got the second, but didn't quite rock. And
equalizer. That's actually the cannon barrage as well. Shikari just stepping away, lands one last harpoon. Satsumas will make sure Sendo doesn't lose too much HP, and this might just be first turret blood here in the mid lane, in the bot lane, sorry, as NG hanging about with Prosper and Xmadi. Prosper closing in on that flash. That flash taunt has been so decisive for Fnatic in all of these earlier games today. If he can find those key ones, he could find that massive engage for his team.
And we see a teleport disadvantage here. I feel like that's also one of the reasons why Fnatic might not play a little bit more proactive here. Had they had Shikari teleport and the level 2 equalizer, as he just dinged level 11 right now, I might have actually liked to see them go and try for a play on the bot side, as Jan is just going to use his ult to clear the wave out here and get a push on and back into safety. But instead, Fnatic aren't really able to find a place around this rumble, and with Leander's Torment not finished, I really want to see this next equalizer be a factor, but the objectives aren't really all there now for Fnatic.
Yeah, we do actually see the Boots of Swiftness coming out from Sendo, and so having to deal with all the slows coming out from Shikari, just wants to negate some of that pressure. He knows his role is to scale up, provide his ult, and survive the pressure, because he has fallen behind Shikari, as we talked about earlier, the split map. He's special. With this package, very confident.
I mean, it's really easy for a Corki to break the Infernal Chains by Aatrox. It's rough. So what do Fnatic need to look to do here? What are their conditions in this?
Like I said, I think like if they can bait XL into a team fight, then there are definite possibilities. Combination of an equalizer with a Pop Blossom is just absolutely insane. If Magic Felix can then, as Orcs was saying, get onto the back line, because the Corki is fairly mobile if his Valkyrie is up, but the same can't be set for Yarn. If there's an Aatrox on top of him and he doesn't have his flash, there's no way he's getting out alive.
Yeah, the thing is as well is that the engage from Fnatic is really lacking. Like, you can put Equalizer down, but they will just kite away and make it hard to chase them. But
they have the ulti to work with. They might just go for it. Equalizer is down. NG coming over the wall. The barrels will not do too much. And Prosper with the taunt, with the shield, make sure Shikari will not go down. And Fnatic pull a proactive play in the bot lane.
Able
to get a kill.
In the mid.
A lot of damage for that tower.
But not enough to take it down. The wave was cleared out pretty effectively by xMatty, and it looks like Prosper is moving up to assist him. So good play from Fnatic. They should be able to get that tower in the bot lane. And overall, pretty advantageous for them. And this is the sort of proactivity we need to see on the back of the channel until they find an opportunity to get a flank and punish the bot lane of XL.
And one of the key things to note actually is the Zeal pickup for NG. So he's going towards the more crit build. Obviously, it's been a while since we've seen Kindred. More recently, I have been seeing the rapid fire, the kind of crit Kindred, but there was a phase for a very long time when Kindred was meta. It was the Black Cleaver Kindred.
Yeah.
So it looks like we're phasing towards a more kind of crit-focused build, and it makes sense because xMatty isn't on a typical ADC. He's playing an eco, he's playing an AP carry, so having consistent pumping damage coming out from this Kindred is going to kind of make up for that hole.
Yeah, and haven't seen the Kirshi Shard just being picked up. We do have confirmation it will be the rapid fire cannon. I was going to say potentially it could be the Phantom Dance if you want to go more defensive, but that will be the rapid fire coming out. We do see...
This is a static shiv, which would not make sense to me.
That would not make sense at all. We do see the Death Dance now picked up by Magic Felix, so opting for the Kindle Gem for CDR from the Black Cleaver, but not going for that full item yet, and it makes sense. A lot of squishy members on the side of XL. We'll make him quite bulky, because there's a lot of pseudo-tankiness coming out from the Death Dance, obviously delaying the damage applied to you.
And this next dragon, this time Shikari has the equalizer and his ultimate available, has finished the Landry's Torment, will be going towards a more tanky build there, not going for the Royal Eyes to try and help his team with engage, but instead against the full AD composition. There's some mixed damage from Corki, but the Zhonya's is going to make him a lot tankier.
The ult economy is great. Everyone has ults, so this is... Okay, well, Sendo just proves me wrong.
Yes, we use his ult to clear that wave, but that means they won't have it if a fight comes out over this Cloud Dragon. Shikari, yes, has his ult. He also has his TP to get there. And I think the build coming out from him is that with that Zhonya's, he'll be able to teamfight much more effectively. And now, Special's actually heading up to meet Moth. Some question mark pings come out. Both teams should just back away. Special does have TP, so if they need him to come into the fight, he can join them. Is very effective at having a 1v1, but they gave up so much pressure just by not having the Gangplank ult. It's a pretty free dragon coming out from Fnatic. Again, though, it's a Cloud, not the most impactful, but maybe relevant later on if they want to get an Elder that can secure them a win when they hit the late game and XL sort out scale.
Even with the Gangplank ultimate, I feel like you know that Shikari is so incredibly strong right now that a single misstep here can cost you the game. Now, XL, they are somewhat ahead here as Shikari just uses it to clear out the wave. There's no objective, so he doesn't need to be afraid of it, and the cooldown's relatively short, so if any Barret fight comes up, he will have it available, but as I was saying, XL, they don't need to force anything, and taking the risk against a team composition with a Rumble, like if you fall behind against that and you ever try to team fight again, it's just going to be such a gruesome endeavor.
Yeah, look at this push in the top lane. We're actually seeing this turret is getting focused out. NG has actually found out Taxo on the top side of the map, but not going to result in a kill, and it looks like Special should just be able to pick up this solo turret for himself. So the equalizer, it bought time, but it didn't save the turret.
Yeah, and it does mean that they're not in a position where they're going to be able to team fight. xMatty has now picked up his 2 core items for the Glacial Augment build. He will be able to find a lot of slows on these champions. But right now, it feels like XL just have complete control, and the tempo is being set by them. Yeah, a couple of dragons went over to Fnatic. That's nothing significant, especially when we are looking for Fnatic to be the team to make proactive plays in the mid game and try and find a lead that will win them the game, because XL are completely happy scaling up, especially on the back of this Kleptomancy Corki, as well as things with extra gold generation like that Gangplank top.
And I wonder what extent of that somewhat passive play here from Fnatic comes from them not seeing any openings or them being kind of scared of XL, because I gotta imagine coming up, and even with how good they've been looking today and yesterday, after last week's game, I can imagine it feels like such a scary prospect to face off against a team like XL that have so many tricks up their sleeve.
They will have spent all week looking towards this one match. Every other thing they had to play, they had to do, all the scrims they've had, but it all becomes irrelevant compared to this. This is the match they've been waiting for, that they've been playing towards. So yeah, the pressure is absolutely on for Fnatic Rising, and I agree. I think it's starting to show.
Well, 20 minutes on the clock here. It's just a 1,700 gold lead over to XL. Can see the gold on your screen currently. xMatty looks for a play, gets that pop blossom off, roots Skarner, who flashes away. Not going to find the engage, not going to find that moment, but summon a spell burn. This could be a problem.
Yeah, and that's a great thing to take. The fact that Matty didn't even have to burn his own flash to find that means that Jarden is now pretty vulnerable. Now I want to see them start to be a bit more proactive, look for the team fight, because if they flank that Jhin, he will die. And it's very difficult for a Jhin who's flanked to do much because he can't use his ult if multiple people come from multiple directions. Actually, Crossfair.
Crossfair might be for a bit of hurt here. The final spot comes down. The Cannon Barrage to boot. Curson has been called, and it looks like Magic Felix will tank that up for his support. The Infernal Chains are on, and NG took a massive chunk from that fourth shot. The special flashes over the wall. Sorry, Valkyrie's over the wall to try and get some follow-up damage. XL really tried to make that play happen, but it didn't end out in a kill.
And as you were saying, Dan, I feel like these are the small windows of opportunity that you have. But looks like XL is aware of that as well, because while the rest of the team goes in very deep there, Yarnan just stays in a safe position where there is vision, where he's not threatened by a surprise binding of the one Natty.
Oh, NG's got the flash, he's coming over the wall. That's going to be the Pop Blossom to ruin them up. They get the equalizer down. The shutdown's picked up for xMatty, and Fnatic find two.
And that is the play we were waiting for. They go for the flank, they fully commit. The fact they Shen ulted and then NG flashed over the wall to look for the play, it showed they were so confident that this was the one to go for. However,
Teleport's coming in. Sendo wants to join into the fray. Special poking away with those rockets and those phosphorus bombs. That's going to be the barrels. Prospect goes to flash toward the roots down. And that is going to be the end of Special. Fnatic are chasing for more. The flash out by Sendo to make sure he doesn't get caught by the Infernal Chains.
They're getting low.
And Fnatic are low HP. Taxa has to be zoned away, and he might just look for the kills. The slows connect, the taunts connect, and that will be the end of days for the jungler for XL.
yeah, and they will just back off. They got all the kills they needed. They got everything they wanted from that play. The Baron was simply a tool to bait Taxa in, and it worked beautifully. Great execution coming out from Fnatic. They punished the lack of summoners from Shannon, and they were able to get so much for it. And now the gold has, to a degree, been equalized, but the kill score definitely going in their favor. And look where all those kills are.
It's all on NG. I want to get those the Kindred stacks really badly. Sorry.
That's completely
interrupted
fine.
you.
You know, that's okay, Jake. I'm just really happy that we get a game like this, because this is some high-quality League of Legends here, and as my last game
Some high-quality slows. Prospect finds the taunt, the root, the Pop Blossom. This will be the end of Shannon as xMatty gets the kill. The Cannon Barrage has been used, but NG uses the Lamb's Respite to keep himself alive. The heal is there, and NG is fed, but not fed enough as Shikari steals away the kill.
And just as we were praising XL for the slow gameplay, allowing themselves to scale, they get caught out just after the team fight they lost. Shannon steps up with no flash. Matty finds a great play. And then another play might come out here as well.
Because things just getting slowed. Glacial Augment is horrible. That's the root and the heal. Oh.
And now Fnatic are looking to keep this pace up, because I feel like what's crucial is they don't give XL the time to kind of recuperate. Instead, keep making these plays, keep forcing these mistakes, go for that Baron fight with your equalizer and close out the game before XL can scale up.
This will be a solid denial, actually, as the Marker Kindred was taken away on that other side of the map, denying it from NG, who is currently one stack away from that crucial 4. That magic number we were talking about is on 3 at the moment. Wants that range buff with a rapid fire cannon as well that extends even further. It's really, really nice for him if you can get that, but it has been denied by XL for now. Magic Felix will pick up this top lane turret, and they're one turret away from equalizing out that turret score. But the big Kari wants to just cook Special. That's a lot of damage onto him. Special Valkyrie's away. Equalizer is available, and Shikari looking to line it up. Special flashes out, and the golden is used. Shikari finds himself the 1v1 solo kill.
Finds a great solo kill there, just caught him sleeping and is able to sneak up. Did have to use his ultimate and the stopwatch, but absolutely worth it.
But especially because Shikari has just hit level 60. Rumble's ultimate was buffed a couple of patches ago, so look at that cooldown kick down. I can assure you that if Fnatic aren't too speedy on the next Baron attack, that will be back up. And these are the kind of opportunities that Fnatic needs to keep forcing here, because they've turned a rather big gold deficit into a gold lead now, but I want to see them actually crack open the base of Excel here.
Yeah, they are finally looking at a gold lead. 1,500 did take quite a bit of time, and we can have a look at where it has bloomed. And the big one for me is in the jungle. 3,000 difference between those junglers, and look at the CS on top of the kills. And the thing is, Kindred is one of the scaling elements of Fnatic that we look to in the later stages, so that is pretty big if they want to keep this advantage going.
I think that NG is also building towards an Infinity Edge, so if he actually finishes that, it's going to feel like Fnatic don't actually lack an ADC. And look at that mark!
Yeah, no, Shikari's taking it.
Yeah, NG's nowhere near, but it was still nice. You know? I mean, to be fair, the fact that Kindred marks are still spawning on scuttles, like 26 minutes in the game, generally will be a bad sign for NG. Now, obviously, he's having a great game besides that, but it's still got to be a little bit of a bittersweet feeling as he sees that, as it needs to be taken by Shikari there.
You know what you can just do? You can just kill the Baron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding. I don't think that the mark will spawn on the Baron if you're not at 4 stacks yet.
I'm not 100% certain on Kindred.
I'm fairly certain it's not going to happen. Poor NG. I mean, he's still, 200 CS and he's 4-0-2 on Kindred, so he's not going to feel too sad about it, but yeah.
And I think the Infinity Edge is going to be such a big breakpoint, because that means you can start to pop these squishy carries. There it is. If he gets a crit when he hits someone like Special or Shannon, he will absolutely destroy their health bars. And the thing is, it's very hard to turn around on him because he has that Lamb's Respite. If you overcommit to try and kill him, he's just going to ult, and you might end up losing yourself in return. And the thing is, the Kindred has a lot more kiting capability than the likes of a Jhin. So if you overcommit to try and take him out, he will just kite you. His team will absolutely shut you down.
Boopy goes to scout out XL. Not going to find anyone. Fnatic still struggling to break open this mid lane tier 1. That is one of the key points. Kiana now has his flashback up, so those kind of punishable moments that were forced out earlier are now fading away. But Fnatic are going to be able to step up, and this should be this turret going down, sending the gold lead even further in favor of Fnatic with 2k ahead.
Yeah, and the big thing is, although Shannon has his flash, Special and Kasingo without theirs, they are always vulnerable targets for Fnatic. They keep chaining these fights, and that means they'll always have someone they can focus down pretty effectively, especially when Shikari is so strong and this ult from Rumble is going to hurt so much.
I do feel like with the gameplay slowing down a little bit as NG goes in.
Curtain's out. They're trying to find themselves something onto NG. Remember, he still has that Lamb's Respite. The 4th shot will be chunked out by X-Matty. NG very, very low, but not able to go down.
They do lose the tower bot lane essentially for free. Sendo just cannot keep up with Shikari. It's absolutely dominating this difference between these top laners, and XL are going to move towards the Baron to try and get control, but when Rumble has TP, I don't think you can start that one up.
Look at MagiFelix's positioning there. I think he's hitting in a little pocket of vision, looking for someone to maybe get greedy and come his way. Gonna find anyone though.
And this is the issue, is that they try and force something because they're losing so much on the top side. A split push Rumble of all things is being the end of XL's ability to hold on to this game. And if a Baron is their way to stop it, if you try and drag Fnatic over to that buff and stop them from applying pressure bot, they will crush you on the back of that Rumble ult.
Not been the most exciting Drakes in a very exciting game. There's got another Ocean spawning up. There's also that mark down there. You can see NG barreling down there. Wants to pick that mark up as quick as possible.
It will be the range upgrade for him. So
that's
a very big team fighting tool if he gets that one.
This is such a tense game. MagiFelix gets rooted.
A lot of CC on, but they're not going to commit. He still has that World Ender and the Umbral Dash to get over the wall. As XL weren't able to steal away this mark. That is the 4th for
There we
Kindred
go.
and the Drake to boot. But it looks like XL maybe just looking to try and get their attention onto this Baron, as they did clear out a lot of Fnatic vision earlier. I'd actually like to see a bit of a toggle of the vision so we can just see what all the teams are currently seeing, because I do think XL have pretty much all dominance over the Baron area.
It's also why you see NG back off there, not wanting to take the risk, because if he dies here, it's just the Baron is going to be incredibly easy to take for XL if they can avoid the equalizer. I mean, Pop lost him an equalizer, so maybe not quite as easy, but at least you can threaten it if the jungler is down.
The huge thing for me is you see that ward in the blue side jungle. That is so threatening, because Shikari and even X-Mighty could TP to that, and that could literally destroy XL so incredibly hard. They do have the flashes available again across their board, but there are flashes for all of Fnatic And X-Mighty, if he follows your flash with his ultimate, he will destroy anyone on that roster.
Well, that ward has, I believe, timed out now, so they need to place it again if they want to get it down. There it is. But now Fnatic have been able to re-grip control of this Baron area, but you look at the items, the fight's still going to break out here. X-Manny's already low, the equalizer gets used, X-Manny flashes forward, finds no one with the pop blossom, the cannon barrage is down. Hyanan is going to be toasted by Shikari, who is just running him through. He's burning down, but the heals are there, the roots are there, the final spark will toast down the shutdown, and Special is able to pick up the kill, and Fnatic Rising lose out the fight as Shikari falls.
Yeah, and Kasing was huge there in saving Sean. I thought he was going to burn down. I'm pretty sure he would have.
That was almost a massive root. NG's over now. He's looking to get the damage down. Prospect lands a taunt onto one. The Lamb's respite to keep X-Manny alive. The heal will pop. And NG tries to get himself a kill onto the Olaf. Tax is low. Magic Felix has gone golden as he flashes the wall. Has the healing. Trying to get Hyanan. Magic Felix. That was disgusting. And Fnatic turn the fight back around. 2 for 2. X-Manny gets crit. The final spark is narrowly dodged away. And somehow they're still in this game. But Special is doing so much goddamn damage. It's insane.
Yeah, and I don't think they'll get this tower with no minions, so I'm going to give it an effort. But Special is just a monster in this team fights. They were focusing Sean, and they eventually get him down. But the Corki is the real problem here. And honestly, I said XL without scale. I'm starting to get concerned, but
X-Manny's on the flank. He's teleported in.
It's a double teleport.
Spoopy ghosts are out there. It's got Shikari. Sendo's been caught. Kasing's been caught. They're looking for the roots. He's not going to find his mark. But now the cannon barrage is down, and X-Manny has to pop Blossom. Nobody gets rooted, and the shield is on. They get more damage out. It's enough to secure a double kill for Special. But NG has joined into the fray. A 2 for 2 fight has been picked up, and Fnatic are able to walk away happy. But they've lost a lot in the process.
I gotta say, XL, the ones who are happy there, they both burned TPs to go for that play, and they traded 2 for 2. That could have been Baron if it'd been more successful, but Special was just so great, positioning into Fnatic's own jungle, and then he comes in for the flank onto Fnatic's flank and ends up taking down Shikari, and Matty quick to follow, especially as his ult did not connect.
And GA has been picked up by Magic Felix as well now.
And we keep waiting for a breaking point from either team here, because while you see that XL, like you're saying, the scaling has now kicked in, Special can just shred through a team in a matter of seconds, it still feels like this matchup is on a knife's edge, because if X-Mati hits the root there, if they can just find that Pop Blossom, that fight can go completely the other way. And in the subsequent team fight, Special has no flash, Hyanan has no flash, Kasing has no flash. And yes, the same can be said for Fnatic, but it's way easier to find an equalizer from range.
Absolutely, I think for me, this is the last chance for Fnatic to put their stamp on this game. They've just picked up a GA on Kindred and Aatrox. All the flashes are down across XL. Prospect still has his. This is their last opportunity to find a team fight into the Baron and get the win. If they don't, I think XL will just outscale, and they're going to really struggle to do any more, especially if they lose a fight here. Without the GAs, they will absolutely crumble before the strength of this Corki.
Corki does have level 18, Infinity Edge Triforce, Rapid Fire Cannon, Phantom Dancer. This is late game Corki, baby.
That's not fun to be in the receiving end of, I can tell you that.
And the package. Crossfair has to find a good taunt, but it's going to be hard as Special has got Taxa with him.
You can't do it until the package is down.
They're waiting it. That's going to be it. The taunt connects onto one. The slows are there. Magic Felix looking for Kasing as he gets picked off. The cannon barrage forces the flash out. The curtain call has been summoned, and that's going to be the equalizer to send XL's packing. Looks like Fnatic found one, but they lost a lot of health in the process and were not able to pick up the person they want to kill. It is Special.
Yeah, and the damage coming out from Sendo's ult. This is the powerful level 16 Gangplank. It absolutely chunked Prospect, and they did all that for just a kill and support. It's not going to mean any more than that. They won't get any objectives. They might try and get some control of the Baron area once they're back. But I said this was their window. There still is more time. The flashes are still down. They have the GAs, but that is not the play they needed to win this game.
It definitely isn't, and you gotta imagine Fnatic, they're under so much pressure. They must know this as well. The window is slowly closing. You're gonna start to reach the point where Special's just gonna cut through every single person on your team. But XL, they've started the Baron.
Baron's been started. NG cancels the base. The pink ward's placed, and Fnatic know it's happening. They're collapsing in. Remember, those flashes are down for the moment. The equalizer, moments away from coming up. The Lamb's respite is there to buy time. He's trying to stop the smite. NG has to get out, though. The final spark's there. Fnatic pick up the Baron. X-Manny uses the ulti. That's the equalizer. Special is low. They get more. Fnatic are coming up absolutely huge in the fight. Magic Phoenix gets a double kill. And Fnatic rising, get their chance. This is the time.
They get the Baron, they get the fight, they destroy them, and it all comes down to NG. Jumps over the wall, ult, which blocks Tax's smite from killing the Baron. He waits for his slams for smite to time out, and then he secures it himself. The whole of Fnatic were firing on all cylinders there, and they're rewarded.
And that was so crisply timed because not only does NG stop the Baron, but the moment that they actually needed, the equalizer is up from Shikari, he cuts off Aniano escapes, and Fnatic are just looking so vicious here.
The Cannon Barrage is used just to clear off the minion wave, the barrels to boot. And Fnatic are just going to step away. They want that third Ocean Drake. Remember, we were talking about this Elder Drake win condition. This will be 5 Drakes getting empowered by the Elder. This might be another chance for some kind of prospects of a late game, but Fnatic unable to close with that Baron. They just take 1 inhib in the mid lane. Teleport's coming in. XL do not want to give this one up lightly.
Looks like they are looking for a flank, but they're just going to Baron recall and get away. A desperation play coming out from XL, and I feel like we talked about the pressure on Fnatic. That Baron was a pressured play from XL. It felt like they were concerned. They knew that Fnatic were looking for the final fight, and they thought, you know what, we'll go for a Baron. We're not going to respect them. We will have a look at the play here. So look at what NG does. He jumps over, the ult comes in, smite down, but it won't die because of the Lamb's Respite. And then after it wears off, NG can secure it.
And what I love is also Magi Felix and NG jumping at the exact same time. There is the equalizer. Sendo and Special are getting burned down, so they don't have the opportunity to go in and do the damage that we know that they can do. And it's just easy cleanup for the rest of Fnatic. I think the one thing that, if they can't find another inhibitor, might be a little bit prohibitive is that Elder Dragon, because the Drake was taken so late, is so far away. By the time Baron is going to be up again, and against a team like XL, having both of those objectives on the table must be quite a scary prospect. But Fnatic now, like you were saying, they still have the Baron, but for a minute 42, Shikari almost has to teleport, but they need to be careful because it's still a couple of seconds away.
Feels to me like this game is resting on the knife's edge right now. Fnatic need to pull that trigger. That timer is getting so close to running out.
It absolutely is, and Fnatic are dancing on it. Every single team fight win they get, it brings them closer and closer to victory, but if they slip once, they will get cut down, and XL will be able to strongly take this win with their scaling.
Don't forget how fast XL is going to shred through every single objective that Fnatic still have left standing, because with a Corki and a Jhin, your turrets don't mean anything whatsoever. And the same can be said for XL's turret now with this Baron buff, and he keep coming back to NG on this Kindred because he is having an absolutely dominating performance on that champion.
Absolutely, he has great amount of damage coming out now, able to cut through anyone who comes near him, but also the team fight play there, the decision making was huge. And you know, Chronicle's pointing out right now, look at the CS difference between junglers. Look at the item difference between junglers. Yeah,
that's what I was about to say. The items is the key one.
There's super minions that are stronger than Taxa. There is nothing apart from maybe Special's Corki, which can go toe-to-toe with NG's Kindred.
I think in the next fight, though, Xmadi's ultis have been a little underwhelming. He hasn't found the big ones. I feel that no matter how late this goes, if Xmadi finds a good ulti onto Special and Shannon, that's game-changing. That turns the fight, no matter how late we are, because the amount of damage it does, the fact that you CC them long enough for the follow-up damage to come through is there, but they haven't been finding their mark. But you also have to remember Special has a lot of mobility on this Corki.
The big one for me, you see it go out, is the Glacial Augment. Even if he isn't able to land the big ultimates, the slow facilitates his team so much. Magi Felix has been massive in his team fights when he gets a reset, and NG, we've talked about him so much, but this Kindred, he is really scary right now.
Xmati has been able to find some cheeky little routes where he hides off on a corner, and the same can be said for Prosper. And while I agree with you, the Pop Blossoms haven't really been there. They are fairly telegraphed. So I'm looking at Xmati, try to find that pocket of vision. You are Fnatic, so if there's one thing that we know you can do, it's to set up these death rushes, and you don't even need to actually have them come close. Just find that single route that Xmati can throw out, and that might very well be the end of it. Although Yarnan has picked up the Mercurial Scimitar, so just a single route isn't enough anymore.
Absolutely, unless you hit on a target like Special, he doesn't have cleanse, does have the flash throw. If you lock him down, he will be vulnerable. Gone for no defensive items other than the Phantom Dancer, which is sort of bit of both. No Bloodthirster, no Mix Scimitar himself. He's opted for full damage, and he does hurt absolutely. 100% crit. He's always going to be landing those critical hits, and they do so much damage, but he is very vulnerable if they get on top of him, and that is exactly what Fnatic will be looking to do. Excel trying to get some control of the Baron area again. It is spawning soon, but we can also see the Elder Dragon is going to be on the cards, and for one team, that is way more significant than the other, and I think everyone watching knows which one that is.
But Curtain actually is being used here. Xmadi takes out one of those shots. Magifelix tanks the last one. Good job, there's Honey Fruit, and Magifelix, remember the Steadfast Presence is available. Sorry, the Stand United is available to deliver in the Shen, who is currently with the back of the team.
Hitting them like sheep.
They have to be careful. That's a good route. That's
Those
a
are
final
strong
spark, NG. Hey, those sheep bite.
Oh, look at Prosfaz.
XL are actually wolves in sheep's clothing right now.
Absolutely. It looks like Fnatic really want this fight, but it's so close.
Deadly Flash doesn't find its mark. Someone just flashed forward. That was Kasing. They didn't actually find a route.
It's so rough. You want to go for those plays in the late game moments. Find the plays that will win the game, but unfortunately Kasing doesn't manage to get it, and now it's going to be very vulnerable. They're starting up the Baron already. It's going very fast.
Yeah, look at the pings. The barrels didn't actually chunk NG. Specials in that bush. The Spooky Ghost will send in packing. Fnatic know what's going on. They have the vision. They have the time to play with, but this this Baron is going to go to half HP. NG could go for the same play, still has that Lamb's Respite. A lot of damage has been done from Baron onto the line of XL. They reset, they go back to Baron. Magifelix has put himself on the flank. That's a good equalizer. The cannon barrage is there. Magifelix is trying to get into the fight, but Xmadi is zoned and slow.
Down!
He has the Pop Blossom, doesn't find his Midas Special. It's going to go down, attacks it now. Jumps in for Xmadi, goes God with the Zonyas. Sender tries to find the mark, but it's not enough. Fnatic once again coming up absolutely massive. 3 members of XL have fallen, and Fnatic rising, win a team fight once again.
And unbelievable, Magifelix finds the flank there. Sendo tries his very best to keep them away from the rest of his team with the ultimate. But the engagement is there, and with Special going down at the beginning of that fight, there's nothing that Excel can do.
That Corki was a carry. He went down so fast, and Fnatic, they are looking to end this game.
This could just be it for Fnatic Rising. The barrels have to be big, but they get cancelled out. The Infernal Chains are flashed away, and the turrets are still being focused out here by Fnatic. They're onto the first Nexus turret, but it's doing a lot of damage to the defenders of Fnatic. Magifelix resurrects up with the Zonyas. With the Guardian Angel. Sendo is doing a lot of work to him. Magifelix jumping away, but the Nexus is being focused. 42 minutes on the clock. Fnatic Rising reclaim their seat at the top of the tower.
And they get revenge on XL. They looked unbeatable last week, but they got beat right there and then.
Unbelievable, what a game. And while the moments of excitement at the beginning it was kind of slow, but then the tension just started building, and it felt like it was unrelenting, like more objectives, more plays, and in the end, it's one big decisive team fight after a couple of great plays from Fnatic Rising.
I mean, Fnatic picked up that timer, and they just drop-kicked it out the window, man. Because you were right. You were completely right on the timer. But Fnatic didn't care.
Yeah.
They were finding incredible flanks. They were finding good moments. And it was, I mean, just like, whoa. Shikari's Rumble, those equalizers were perfect. Every time they were massive for the team. Magifelix in that final fight with the good flank around the back of the Baron just cut off any escape routes for XL that weren't advantageous for them.
Yeah, I think the big thing for me was that one window I said, Fnatic needs something here. And then XL started the Baron as if they heard me and they said, you know, we'll give them a chance. I've got to admit that was definitely a mistake, but the pressure that's on this match was huge. And Fnatic, they came in strong at the right moments, but
do you know what this means?
More of this.
Do you know what this means? Do you know what this means? I'm the superior analyst here.
Oh, God.
I want to congratulate you. This is my parting gift.
Yeah, no, I was about to say this is my parting gift for you. Knowing that I'm
you
a
are
better
better.
analyst.
that is classic Jake, not gonna lie.
When Jake wins.
When Orcs is at the bottom, I'm fairly certain Twitter are beating you.
I'm tied with Twitter.
You're tied with Twitter. Well done,
Hey.
mate. You are one with Twitter currently.
Yeah, I mean, I am just...
How did this happen? What universe are we in where I'm currently making better
guys,
predictions than anyone else?
I love predictions, but like this game, like I feel like we all need to catch our breath because we were getting, as the game progressed, we were getting like so incredibly tense as well because you could just notice how close it was.
Yeah, and I've got to give credit for the fact that Fnatic, they hit that window, they kept it going, and they found those massive team fights. And XL, they got so far behind in kills, but there was always this looming threat. If Fnatic made a single mistake, I absolutely think that XL would be able to crush that game because that Corki was so strong, the Jhin was able to pump out tons of damage, but you can't do damage when you're dead.
Always vote on someone new to sit on top of the tower. That's what I've learned. Because
That is the lesson.
XL beat Fnatic last week, Fnatic beat XL this week. Who's going to win next week? XL, M&M,
Demise, and then they win Worlds.
Demise are going to win Worlds.
With
You heard
Garrett
it here.
Yumi.
With
Yeah,
Garrett
with
Newman.
Garrett Newmy.
God.
That's the only reason that this was so close. If either of these teams picked Garrett Newmy, it would have been over like that.
I
Sounds
don't
like
even
solid
want to
reasoning
humor
for
you
me.
right now. I actually don't want to. That was an incredible game.
It
I think that
was.
was one of the most fun games we've had at Summer Split. I know we're only 2 weeks in, but like, that was bloody good.
I think this
I
was
think
the
that
best
was
one.
that was in top 5 of all of the UKLC. That was a pretty hypey matchup, and
know,
both teams
guys,
definitely delivered.
I'm really glad that you organised this as my giveaway present for UKLC to give me this match. That's
Yeah.
That's so
yeah,
nice.
you need to make sure you PayPal Fnatic and
Yeah.
XL.
Yeah,
because
yeah,
just for like,
yeah.
for,
So,
yeah, no,
they
I-
promised to
I
hype
mean,
you
I'm-
out.
Kasing, Prospect, yeah, I just want to say thank you. Chronicler really appreciates it. Cheers.
Yeah, yeah. No, I really appreciate it, guys. But all jokes aside, like, we were treated to an incredible match here, and I'm happy to see that Fnatic showed that XL are an invincible.
Well, we're also treated to an incredible interview with a wonderful man, Prospect. How are you doing, dude?
I'm good, obviously. Which one?
Yeah. I mean, all right. How do you feel taking the tower back? Because week 1, you lost your spot, and then you came into this week with 0 points. So, like, how does it feel to climb all the way back up and get your spot back?
I mean, I'd say it's like one of the best parts of the formats. Like as a player, getting to play like 3 games in one day when it like gets progressively harder, and you get to kind of work your way up. Yeah, it's really good. Like playing games is the best part about being a professional player. So
Yeah.
I'm sure it feels really good to kind of climb the tower and beat everyone.
So obviously, going away from the loss against XL was a big hit last week. What was the sort of mentality going forwards, and how did you prepare for this week to make sure that didn't happen again?
I mean, I don't think we were really bothered by losing to them last week. Obviously, like we would have preferred to win, but the fight that happened level 3 was like based off just a few individual mistakes from me. If I'd have lived a few seconds longer, we probably would have quadra-killed them, not the other way around. And that made the game like really hard to play off that. Although we probably still could have won the game anyway, despite that. So we just looked at the mistakes we made last week and we just went into scrims and practiced, hard to try and beat them. That's all we did.
I want to ask you something, not about the amazing games you guys just played against XL, but against M&M, because for us, it really felt like M&M were, besides XL, really the first one to kind of challenge you guys. How was that for your and like for the team? Did it feel the same way, or do you feel like there's still a sizable gap between the two of you and M&M?
I mean, it felt to me like we did the same things with XL as we did with M&M. We just played our game, and M&M didn't really provide any pushback. They didn't challenge us at all, whereas XL actually understand the game to the same level we do and tried to stop us doing what we wanted to do, and also got some plays off of their own. So it felt to me like M&M actually couldn't really get any plays off against us, so I didn't really feel like they challenged us.
Also kind of focusing away from this particular game, I want to have a look at the league overall, and obviously it's fairly obvious who our top 3 are with you, XL, and M&M. Who do you think is like kind of the next strongest? Because I honestly can't place my finger on like who is our next strongest team in the league. Who do you think is another team who could potentially rise up and maybe even take a tower one week?
It's hard to say without playing everyone, but I'd say it's probably something to do with Diabolus or Barrage. I'd give it to Diabolus without playing them. Maybe Demise, because I don't think I've seen Demise play. I can't remember who Demise played last week, so maybe they did play one of those teams. But I think probably Diabolus at this point, I'd say they look quite cohesive as a team. I think Barrage has better on paper, but don't seem to be working well as a unit. But it's one of those two, I'd say.
Demise lost to Diabolus last
Demise,
week.
yeah, they lost to Davis.
Yeah,
They beat
okay,
Envision last week.
So
I'd say it's probably Diabolus, but maybe Barrage can get it together towards the end of the season. But it
So-
should be one of these two.
my question to ask you is obviously last week, XL played a very flexible sort of composition. They switched things around all over the place. It felt like this week you very much, picked up on that strategy. Going into the last game, it's hard to place where you were, and obviously there was that game where I got all 5 your, where the champions ended up wrong. Were you sort of surprised for them to go for a much more standard composition where you can very easily place where all the champions go? And do you have any ideas why they sort of went for that against you?
I don't think they did, actually, because from the first 3 picks, they hadn't really locked anything in, because Hyanan obviously can play the Corki, and I think they're quite comfortable giving Hyun and Hyun and all special to Corki, and also putting special bot lane and Hyun in mid lane. So actually, like, there's quite a few things they can do just off one random champion. I think the weird thing with XL is we kind of overthought things last week with their draft, and they just had another cheese prepared in the Karthus. We were kind of prepared for the other cheeses they did, if you want to call it cheese. So like, I think at this point, if a team wants to flex champs and they have that they've hidden, you kind of have to just have your own prepared and hope that you're more comfortable with them and that yours work out better. So it was more on the kind of idea that we just went into it thinking like, if they have cheeses prepared, if they have flex picks prepared that we don't know about, and we don't, we're going to lose draft probably. If both teams do, it kind of just becomes a bit of a who's practiced better, who's kind of better on the day.
So what you're saying is XL beat you because of cheese?
No. we played bad.
Fair enough. One short question, because for me that pick came out of nowhere, and I was really hyped about it, is the Shen pick. Because you guys obviously put a lot of priority in that, locked it in every single game. Where did it come from to become such a high priority? Because we've already seen the Lux, we've seen the Yuumi, and all these things, but the Shen kind of came out of nowhere this week.
I'll be honest, the Shen was pretty random in that one scrim game. One scrim game, like, there were so many supports banned, and it was just like, I was sat there like, there's nothing I can pick, guys, like, it's really doomed. And Matty just literally said, like, how's Shen here? Like, what do you think? He just, like, randomly picked out of nowhere, and we tried it, and it felt really good. Like, and every time I've played it, it felt really good. Even then, like, I think today was, like, my fault. I think these 3 games were, like, my 4th, 5th, and 6th games on Shen, like, in months. So, I just think it feels really good. It seems to fit the way we want to play, and I think it has a lot of agency. It kind of caught me by surprise. It was a bit of a random thing for us.
I actually want to ask you a little bit about what's happening behind you, because you're currently in the Fnatic bunker, if I'm right. Last season you were playing from home, and it was kind of a bit more spread out. So how are you all playing in the Fnatic bunker currently, or is it just a few of you? What's kind of going on with that, and is that helping the team dynamic as well, where, you know, a lot of you are in the same place?
I mean, so everyone's here. Like, downstairs we have the office. Like, this is the office building, and we've got the, like, upstairs renovated offices. We've got, like, every single member of the team here. Yandro's here as well, and we're living here. So, like, I think for me, like, review from scrims is so much more efficient offline than it is online. You can kind of get a lot more into detail and work through issues better, and it just improves workflow. I think it just makes you able to work more efficiently as a team. I don't think there's anything more to it. Like, it's just.
So are your teammates sitting next to you right now, or have they gone?
Matty and Shikari is still in the room.
Yeah, turn the camera. Let's see your team. If they're okay with it, obviously.
I don't think they are.
Fair enough.
Well, Proto, thank you very much for joining us for this interview. It's been really nice to get a bit of an insight from you. Good luck with future weeks, and congratulations on your win.
Thanks very much.
Awesome. Nice
I
to hear
love
from
that.
you.
I love it. Yeah, Shen.
I know how you're trying to get.
Never played
You just
it.
want a cheeky look around the Fnatic bunker. That's all you want.
I just want to see Shikari. He's my boy. You know, I want to see how he's doing. And a pop-off Rumble game. Gotta admit.
All right. Well, the show's not done. We've got more to come. So what we got to do is no more games, but we are going to first of all bring up our predictions for the day. So let's have a little look at this.
Yeah.
Oh Lord, he coming to the top. It's me. 7 points. That is just wonderful.
I have no regrets. I stand by my decisions.
Don't worry, this won't last. For anyone who's watching and really questioning it, this won't last. Absolutely, I will overtake
you're talking
Jake.
about you being last, right?
Jake being first.
Is that
Nothing
like,
else matters.
What bugs you more?
Jake being first.
That's worse than you being last.
Yeah. I'm tired last, you know, it's no biggie. I'm just sandbagging for Carousel.
That's
Oh.
every time.
I don't think that's how it works. So here's the secret. Here's my secret anyway. Always predict someone different at the top of the tower champion, and then get the rest of them right.
I mean, you didn't get the rest of them right because you got XL wrong.
Look, yeah, but how are you doing? You can't trash talk me on this front.
That's true.
See you at the end of the split.
All right. Let's do this. So you can now see I have a nice little whiteboard so we can actually remember who the hell's playing who. We're going to do our ball draw. So, like we normally do, we're going to be picking our teams for our round of 8. Obviously, the same teams who played versus each other this week can't play versus each other next week. So there's none of that is going to be happening. So hopefully you can remember who played who, because I can't. Orcs, we're going to start with blue side. So this will be blue side for game 1, then blue side for game 2, then blue side for game 3, and then blue side for game 4, and then we'll do the red side. So Orcs, blue side game 1, what have you got?
It is Enclave, the prediction you got wrong.
Maybe I'll get him right this time. Enclave, you will be going on game 1 there. Ooh, look at that.
Oh, fancy.
Do you want to do
May I?
blue side for game 2, Chronicler?
Thank you very much. That. It will be. Feeling.
All right, so Phelan will be going into blue side on game 2. Let's. Oh no! I don't want to like break the easel, so I'm just gonna real push this.
I'm surprised.
That's
There we go.
Orc's job.
All right, cool. So get blue side for game 3 now. Orcs.
It is Diabolus.
Diabolus. Alrighty, so Diabolus is gonna be on blue side for game 3 next week. Means they will be avoiding Enclave and Phelan. It's kind of exciting. Now, game 4, blue side. What do we got?
What's it going to be?
What's it gonna be?
Take a look. It will be
M&M.
M&M.
Alrighty, so they are going to be going on blue side for game 4. I really want to stick these down because I don't want to like have them fall again.
I feel like we should. So who did Enclave play?
Enclave played again. Come on, guys.
Diabolus. It was Diabolus.
Yeah, it was Diabolus.
So they can't go against them.
played.
Phelan played against Demise.
Yep.
Yep, and Diabolus played
against Enclave.
versus
Enclave.
So we can
Enclave.
have that one.
and M&M played versus
Barrage.
Barrage. Okay.
Okay, cool.
So there are still potential for a few things. So how this works is if we draw the same team, let's say we draw the same, well, we can't, but let's say for just for the sake of this, we pull Diabolus here. Diabolus would move to red side, and then we go back to game one. So that's how we'll be doing that.
Okay.
Cool.
Obviously,
and
that's
it is
impossible.
XL.
All right, well, that means Enclave will be playing into XL for this next week. You're not having a close-up. Give it to me now.
Yeah, there it is.
There it is.
I was
Really
waiting
waiting
for
for
it.
that one.
To be honest, more than anything, this is just a like a visual thing, so we can remember who's playing who. Because
Yeah, I
last week
can't
we
remember.
forgot. We
Yeah.
forgot instantly who was playing who.
I know what you guys are on about.
All right, so this is
is
Phelan's opponent, which
Will
is
be.
going to be Demise, which I
Demise.
believe
Yeah,
they
yes,
played. So
one
this now
another.
goes to game 3. So Demise will be playing
Ooh.
versus Diabolus.
That's
a
edgy.
replay of our semi-finals from week 1.
Which also means, because Barrage can't play Eminem,
Yep.
so it doesn't matter who we pick.
Yeah,
it
Barrage
has to
will
be
be playing
Barrage,
versus Phelan.
but, I got Barrage, so I'm
There you go.
smithing. Barrage has to go there.
Versus Phelan.
Means
And
Chronicler,
Chronicler, you can get the last one.
Thank you. Well, my last UKLC ball, guys. I wonder
I'm
what's
going to
going to
miss
be.
you.
I miss you guys too. It will
Envision.
be.
Obviously be playing versus
Envision.
M&M. I want to hear who you think is going to be at the top of the tower for next week. Seeming as you're not here, quickly give me your predictions for these games and tower champion.
Okay. XL, I'm not a courageous man. Barrage, I favour my boys in blue. I'm going to say Diabolus, but if Demise of good choose, it's going to be Dan. And it's going to be M&M. And I think the tower champion, I'm going to go with your gut feeling, Jake. I think XL is going to take it back.
XL, Barrage, Diabolus, Eminem, and Fnatic called it.
Okay. You'll see mine when I'm correct at the end of next week, as always. Yeah, pretty excited for next week. Now, I'm going to miss you. Come here. Come here.
Come here. Oh, that's an emotional moment.
You're not allowed in on this.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, come
Come bring it in.
You're
Oh,
breaking your head.
I don't care.
All right, guys. You can let go now.
Thank you.
I know. It's emotional.
It
Let's,
is.
let's get rid of this. You lost your clip. It's okay. All right, guys. Thank you very much for joining us here on the UKLC. If you want to get in touch with the conversation, do head over to our Twitter, LVPUKLOL, where you can catch up on all of the action going on over there. Make sure you use that hashtag UKLC to get involved in the conversation. We'll try to bring you up on stream. We really want to get you in. I love getting the community involved on this front.
And remember, if you want to be at the live finals on 1st of September, you can go to uklc.gg/tickets and you can pick up your own ticket.
Okay, I've been saying lvp.gg. I was lied to.
uklc.gg/tickets.
you are right. Thank you.
can buy your tickets there. You'll have a lot of details about it. It is at Twickenham Stadium on the 1st of September. So if you are interested in seeing us cast some live League Legends with our top teams, show up.
There's gonna be so much action breaking out from there. I'm really excited. It's gonna be high energy. Well, I have a good idea of who's gonna be in the finals. I don't want to say it yet. I'm gonna let that simmer for a bit, but I'm fairly certain we can all agree on who we think is probably gonna be in the finals. And it's gonna be hypey.
Yeah,
It's gonna be really, really hypey. Now, if you missed any games from this week, last week, or even Forge of Champions, which is our promotion relegation, you can head over to our LVP UK LOL YouTube channel. You can actually catch up on all of the previous VODs. Now, do we have points for the week? I don't know if I heard that right. I think we might have the points for the week. So I want to see how everyone's kind of placing at the end of this week, because we haven't actually been able to bring that up and talk about that yet. See who's sitting where.
I know Diablos were very high because I saw an enthusiastic Benelux tweet about that.
Oh, there we go. Cool. So XL have got themselves the points of 8, as they, I don't know why I said it like that. Because you do get points at the beginning of week 2 for being at the top of the tower.
Yeah, so that's the big thing, is that Fnatic didn't get points in week 1 because obviously they start at the top tower. We wouldn't just give them 3 free points, so that it does mean they are in second place, but they are in a position to make that up, be on top of the tower now, and you can see how all the other teams are out. That will be on our Twitter, LVP UK LOL, later if you want to keep track of where your favorite team is and what they have to do to make it to the top end of the table.
Thank you very much for joining us here on our... Oh, wait, no, we got bracket apparently. Let's bring up the bracket so you can see what's happening next week, even though it's behind me. There we go. All right, so Enclave versus XL will be starting out the week. Then we have Phelan versus Barrage, Diabolus versus Demise, and Eminem versus Envision. And everyone will be climbing towards the top to see if they can take on Fnatic Rising.
Absolutely. Should be a lot of good matches. We had some great ones this week. And unfortunately,
We did.
have to say goodbye.
While we gained quality League of Legends, we lost a quality caster in Chroniclers. He's heading back home.
And now we only have one left. I'll let you wonder who that is.
All right, guys, thank you very much for joining us here on the UK League Championship for week 2 of the summer split. We'll be back same time, same place next Wednesday for more League of Legends action. We'll have someone new replacing this guy. So thank you very much for joining us. And Chronicler, thank you very much for joining us. See you later.
Thank you guys for having me.